Hello, you wonderful human beings. Welcome to today's, or this morning's, depending where you are in the world, live session. It's me. Hello, Sarah. Lovely to see you again. Hello, Kame. Hello, Farzan. Looking ravishing. That is, well, thank you very much. Baby Noah Self says, hello, teacher. Hello, everybody. Hello, you wonderful human beings. Human? Not a good start, but there you go. So, I've been teaching for nearly 15 years. Every time I say that, I realize I'm getting probably beyond 15 years and I'm getting older. I'm getting older. But one of the things that I hear most from good evening. Good evening to you. Good evening and good evening as well. One of the things I hear most commonly is this: I can read English, but when I listen to native speakers, it's like a completely different language to the one I'm reading. Or somebody will say to me, I can understand English, but when I speak, I sound robotic. No, they won't sound like that, but they'll think that they sound robotic. If you've ever felt this way, let me know, because you're not alone. I've met so many students over the years who have felt exactly the same as that. That it's completely different when they're listening to British people speak, or when there's talking, it feels like it's all becoming a bit robotic. Hello, Tanya. Lovely to see you. And Mercedes, hello, or Mercedes, depending on how you pronounce that. And you're definitely not broken. You're definitely not alone. And what's actually happening is normal. And today I'm going to show you why English feels so different in real life. And also, we're going to talk about what we can do about it. Now, hello, Anna. Welcome. Before we dive into this really important lesson, tell me in the chat, where are you watching from tonight? I'd love to see the different countries that we've got here today. And remember that last week's lesson that we did about driving in the UK, about vocabulary related to cars and driving, and also talking about British culture in terms of on the road, will be added to the British English lesson library. So that's a collection of all the lives I've ever done. So it stays live until a little bit later after this video tonight, after this lesson tonight, and then I will add it to that library. It's an exclusive product, premium product, where you can watch hours upon hours of live classes. To find out more, there is always, please just send me a comment. But why does this happen? Why? 1 minute, I can see people saying hello from Germany, Russia, Madrid. Hello, Maria Jesus. Germany in the car. In Germany, well, drive safely if you're driving. Italy, buonasera. Barcelona, hola. I'm going to say guten Abend. And, oh gosh. Oh no, I can't remember. I've got to remember. Pakistan, France, Barcelona, lots of people from all over the world. Watching from Ibiza. And Turkey as well. Spain, lots of people from Zaragoza. Turkey, Nassasan. There we go. So lots of people watching from all over the world. But why does this happen? Why is English, listening to real English, like a completely different language? Why is it that when you read English clearly on a page, but then when a native speaker speaks, you suddenly feel lost? Why? Well, here's the truth. There are 26 letters in the English alphabet. 26 letters. I'm not going to ask you to say them all. 26 letters. But could anybody tell me how many phonemes, how many basic sounds there are in English? How many sounds are there in English? We have 26 letters, but does anybody know how many sounds we have in English? Can anybody tell me? That's good. Marie Christine says 33. I'm going to say up, 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 up. There's a few more sounds than that in English. Hi, Oscar. How many sounds? 44, 44, 42, 30. Well, I can tell you, it is 44. There are 26 letters, but there are 44. Lots of people saying it now. Lots of people saying it now, but there are 44 different phonemes. 44 different sounds. That's not including allophones, which are basically variants. If you like your kind of Marvel universe, you know that they have different dimensions and different versions of the same character. It's kind of like that. Allophones are your different alternate reality sounds. But effectively, we have 44 sounds, 26 letters, and 44 sounds, which basically means, I'm sorry to say, that our alphabet is not sufficient for the sound. We can argue, oh, why don't you change your alphabet all you want? But that's not happening. Not at the moment. But the simple truth is, you cannot trust the spelling because the spelling doesn't always match the pronunciation. Well, I'll show you the 44 sounds. There they are. Let me make this bigger. Here. That's all 44 core sounds in a modern British RP accent. Grazie alla porta. Now we have the core group, but that's the 44 core sounds. In the top left, that top left box, you have your monophthongs. In your top right, you have your diphthongs, and in the bottom, at the bottom, you have your voiced and unvoiced consonant sounds. 44 sounds, 26 letters. What does that mean? You can never trust the spelling in English. Now, I will say at this point, don't panic too much. There are patterns and you have ears. But I'm going to show that words can look one way on paper and sound completely different in real life. Here we go. Here's some common ones. Here's some ones that people love. Look at that. People always go, O-U-G-H. There are more than this. There are more than this. You will get there. It is time. It takes time. There are certain sounds that are harder for someone and certain sounds that are easier. It takes time. It's like going to the gym. I went to the gym today. I was awful. But over time, I will get stronger. Or die trying. So, these are, let me make this bigger because these are really important. Let me put myself down there. Look at that. These are sounds like O-U-G-H. There are more than this. There are different examples. But there we have, how many words? 8 words. 8 words. It is not Sahar. It is not. But there are patterns at times, but, you know, not here. O-U-G-H in each of those words. You can see them. And you would think that they're all pronounced the same, but they're not. We have, I've put them there, thought. So that O-U-G-H is an or sound. Thought, the past of think. I thought about it yesterday. Or rough with that sound. It's got that vowel sound like in cup and a sound. Then you have ow like in plow. You have through with that ooh sound. You have the o like in phone or in go. That's in though. You have a schwa in the second syllable of thorough. Thorough. You have off, like in cough. And that final one looks like it should be pronounced hiccough, but it is hiccup. Hiccup. Commonly seen as that as well. H-I-C-C-U-P. But there you have 8 different words, 8 different pronunciations of O-U-G-H. And there are other ones as well. You've got in the Irish English version of loch, which is L-O-U-G-H. Loch. There are others as well. But fundamentally, those words you're going to come across, and you can't trust the spelling. You cannot trust the spelling. That's a bit insane, isn't it? Let me make this a little bit bigger there. And then we have something, we don't even include the allophones. Allophones are variants, as I say. So you've got your 44 sounds, your 26 letters, and you've got some bonus sounds on top. You have a dark L and a light L. A lot of people don't like the light L, the dark L, sorry. The light L, you touch the tip of your tongue here and go la, and drop into the vowel. La. It commonly comes at the start of the word. Most of you find that quite easy. We use it at the beginning of words and it drops into it. La. La. Yes, that's the Scottish version of the word. Lock can also be the Irish spelling. The Irish English version is L-O-U-G-H, Sahar, apparently. And light love, leaf, light, love, leaf. That's pretty easy. I think most people, uh, that, for most people. But then you have something called the dark L, which is a heavier sound. While the tip of the tongue was on that alveolar ridge and dropping down like la, la. Let me make my face bigger. La. Suddenly you get this ooh, ooh, ooh noise. So it's like a ooh, ooh, ooh. So the back part of your tongue goes up towards the roof of your mouth. Ooh, ooh. So in a word like this, oh, dip, 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 and we commonly use it at the end of words or before a consonant. So it's a different sound. It's a variant. So in the word like this, it is not l, it is oh, go, 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 go. So it ends in that oh noise, not a l noise. I hear a lot of students saying gala, gala, and it makes that schwa noise at the end. You can't do that. No, not unless it. Well, we'll talk about that in another lesson. How the dark L can work there. And this one, loyal. Oh, Kami, that's a good word. Daniel. Daniel. So it's got that oh at the end. It's not Daniel. Not for us, anyway. Loyal has the two types of L. It has a L at the start, like this lighter sound. Loyal. And then it has that oh at the end. So it becomes loyal. Loyal. So already we've isolated the fact that there are ridiculous sounds compared to the letters. We're going to look at some words that you're probably commonly pronouncing maybe incorrectly, or we can make it a bit easier. It's going to be good. Then we also have connected speech to throw in. Now, connected speech is also something that may be sort of detaching you from understanding a native speaker speaking. So not only have we got all these sounds and you're trying to read a word, you're looking at the word and going, thorough. And they go, oh, thorough. But it's through. Tough. What? Not only have we got all those sounds, we've suddenly got connected speech, which even more sounds, it makes the language a bit crazier if you're reading it. This is where words start linking. They start shrinking, or sometimes they just even disappear. If I ask somebody, would you like a cup of tea? I'm probably just going to say, cup of tea? Lots of words have gone there. I got rid of would you like? Cup of tea? Cup of tea? In natural speech. But here we go. This is one here. This is a sentence. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? That looks nice and clear. And in a textbook, you can go clear and slow. Your teacher may teach you nice and slowly and clearly and go, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Maybe. But when a Brit says it, in natural speech, we don't say that. If we speak slowly in the classroom as a teacher, potentially we're not preparing you for the real world. This is why I always kind of spoke at a certain speed, because I trust the brains of my students to catch me far sooner than if I start off nice and slowly, gently, and then speed up. It's like you have to go through two stages if I start off nice and slow. You might as well just have a trial by fire. So instead of what do you want to do, what do we say? It sounds a bit more like what do you want to do? What ya wanna do? I've heard students tell me, oh, British people don't say wanna, we do. What do you want to do? What do you want to do tonight? What do you want to do tonight? What do you want to do tonight? Are you going to go? Are you going to go to the party? These kind of things. Now, we don't write wanna unless it's in text, like we're texting our friends, your mates. But instead of what do you want to do, whatja. It could be a whatja, 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 whatja. But still, there's a glotalization of that T. It's some people will drop it anyway and become what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? It's difficult to know if it's there or not. That T, that T in what, so it becomes what. Then the do you becomes j. We're going to look at examples of that. Wodja, wanna, do. The two just disappears. What do you want to do? Comes like a schwa. What do you wanna? What do you want to do? What do you want to do later? Ridiculous, isn't it? Roy, can I ask you something about this? Do we have to use connected speech throughout the entire sentence? Or we can choose to use it only partially? Realistically, we use it throughout the entire sentence, throughout the entire things that we're talking about. Right now, I'm using connected speech because it's a natural way of communicating. Realistically, if you're getting a bit tongue-tied and you need to slow it down, absolutely. And of course, if it's your process, baby steps. Baby steps. I always say, a lot of students, they want to accomplish everything all at once. Suddenly they're like, well, I can do connected speech, and because I'm focusing on that, the intonation is gone. That's fine. It's a process. It's a building process. It's like Lego. I love Lego. You build the blocks, and then eventually you open up another bag, and it starts building more and more, and eventually you get Tower Bridge. But at the start, it was just a few plates. This happens. I didn't see a message from you last week. I know you were going to message me, but I didn't see a message. But just in case you did, I didn't see it. And then on top of connected speech, a ridiculous number of sounds to letters ratio, we have regional accents, which are different. We have slang, idioms, and things that natives say that don't actually translate literally, which is ridiculous because there's a cultural code behind some of the language as well. And suddenly, learners who are even very advanced, actually really, really advanced, start questioning themselves. Like, why did he say one thing but mean something completely different? What the hell is knackered? And it's so frustrating, isn't it? Especially if you've been learning English for years. But here's the good news. This isn't about your intelligence. It's not about being bad at English. It's simply about training your ears, your mouth, and your confidence to match the real English you hear in everyday life. Trust yourself. You can do it. And that's what we're going to unpack together today. Now, if you don't know me, by the way, my name is Roy Woodhouse, your friendly neighborhood. Yes, I stole that from Spider-Man. Your friendly neighborhood British English teacher. I've been a teacher of English for nearly 15 years, and I've taught in London, in Cambridge, Brazil, the BBC. I've worked with the BBC, and now I'm here. And if you love things about British English, every Thursday I do a live lesson on this channel, so please consider subscribing. And if you prefer a shorter kind of more British culture and language, there is my main channel as well, so please consider subscribing if you haven't already. But now let's talk about some shrinking words. But before we go on to the shrinking words, now when I talk about shrinking words is where a native speaker may say a word that has 3 syllables with 2. Okay. These on the board right now are not shrinking words. These are just common words that you're possibly mispronouncing. I say possibly, I don't know your life, I don't know you, but possibly you are mispronouncing them. So the first one is one I hear mispronounced a lot. How many syllables in that first word, the middle of the working week? How many syllables? Tell me. 3, 4, 10, 21. How many syllables are in that word? Okay. The Chiller says 2. Elizabeth says 3. Vesselin says 2. Giovanni says 2. Greta Laporta says 3. 2, 2, 2. You've changed to 2. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I think I'm sorting the pattern that you might know it is 2. So I've heard people say, and I love it when people say Wednesday, because it makes much more sense, but it's not. It's not, and I'm sorry about this. It's Wednesday. 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 We don't even bother with the D. It's Wednesday. The first D, by the way. It's not Wednesday. It's Wednesday. 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 Wednesday Addams. You might be watching that on Netflix. Wednesday. The second one, I hear a lot of people say it with 3, but it's actually got 2 syllables. the standard pronunciation is two. It's business. Business. We were talking about this on my course, the Ultimate British Pronunciation Guide, last night about business. The fact there is an I in the middle that is silent, but the U and the E get pronounced as a I, which is a common sound for an I. So it's like business, business, getting down to business. Next one, I've heard it pronounced vegetable far too many times. It's vegetable. 3 syllables. Vegetable. Vegetable. Just there is no other pronunciation of this word. People argue with me on the 4th one. They argue with me. They tell me that the O isn't always silent. Well, 9 times out of 10 it is. This is good, Giovanni. This is very, very good to be repeating. I will do more pronunciation repeating exercises with you throughout this course. Business has got 2. People tell me all the time that the O is not always silent, that we hear chocolate. Chocolate. I don't think I've heard people say chocolate. Not in a long time. Certainly not in a modern British RP accent, maybe in some regional accent. It is chocolate. Vasilin, and also vegetable has 3. Vegetable. I'm really well, thank you, Will. How are you? So chocolate has 2. No, I'm afraid it's 2. Chocolate, 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 chocolate. I could have done a game here, couldn't I? Yep. Oh, that's all right. There is no judgment here ever. It's all about the learning and it's love. We spread love. Yeah, I love this. I love this. Okay, so I had a student from Madrid. In fact, she was a colleague who became a student. But before she was a student, I once heard her say, and it was beautiful, I'm going to get some chocolate biscuits for my friends. And I said, oh, and I loved it. But it was so wrong. Chocolate biscuits for my friends. Chocolate, she was saying all the letters, makes sense. Biscuits makes sense, but we don't pronounce the U. For my friends, but we don't pronounce the I. Chocolate biscuits for my friends. Chocolate biscuits for my friends. I loved it, but it was wrong. And it kind of broke my heart in a way to correct it, although I have to. Well, when she became my student, I did. And at the same time, I helped her. Chocolate. Leicester. 2 syllables. It looks like Leicester. I get it. It's Leicester. Camera. 2 syllables. Every. 2 syllables, not every, as I've heard it pronounced. And Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Not Worcestershire, not Worcestershire, not anything like that. Not Worcestershire, as I've heard Americans kind of jokingly say. It is Worcestershire. Worcestershire. It has Worcestershire. Hello, Linda. Worcestershire. Worcestershire. It's easier. It's easier when you cut some sounds out. Or you could just say Worcestershire, be completely wrong and make it harder for yourselves. It's your choice. It will be wrong, but it's harder. And so there are probably some more words. Did I put some more? No. Okay. Here we have some words that native speakers will commonly reduce. What if one wants to stress underline one of the words in a sentence, like almost spell it? We would just put extra weight potentially on the stressed syllables. Like if I wanted to stress Worcestershire, I'm going to Worcestershire and I don't care what you say. I'm a bit angry, but we only overly stress usually when we're maybe a little bit upset. That's, well, not only, but we do that. But and quite often, if we use the full syllables, we would potentially, in these words, use the full syllables if I am comfortable and I don't want to do that. But anyway, let's go these words. So that first word, if you read the dictionary, it says it's got 4 syllables. Comfortable. Comfortable. It hasn't got an H in the final part. There's no H in this word, but it's cirencester. It's irregular. Grazie Laporta. We talked about this last night. It's cirencester. So a lot of people will say comfortable. Some people will say that, but most of us reduce it to 3 and say comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. And it sounds like that actual T sounds a bit more like a D sound, comfortable. Some people will sort of say comfortable, comfortable, which becomes closer to a 2-syllable word. But the most standard, non-standard pronunciation, if you like, is comfortable. So you could say comfortable with 4 or comfortable, comfortable. If you look in the dictionary, they will tell you it's probably, probably. But at native speed, 2 syllables, probably. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. You're probably right. Instead of library with 3 syllables, library. So let's practice a few of these. You can do the next one with me. Instead of family, family with 3 syllables, family. How's your family? Family. Your choice, really. You can say it with 3, or as most of us do, 2. Family. Have you seen your family recently? Oh, it's a family get together, especially when it's like in a compound situation or an adjective situation, almost like family get together. It's a compound noun, technically. Family get together. Favorite, favorite, favorite. 2 syllables. You can say it with 3. Of course, Anna. Library, library, or just library, library. And this gets to the interesting point. Should I teach you as the dictionary says? Should I teach you as most native speakers say, which is my inclination? Or should I teach you both and give you an option, which is more likely what I do? So I could say, oh, you can absolutely say library. That's your choice. 3 syllables. But I personally will go, I'm going to the library. I'm going to the library. Yeah, me and you both. Easier. Easier. And native speakers, well, maybe we're a bit lazy. We're not lazy, actually. We're just efficient. It's easier to say 2 syllables than say 3. It's easier to get rid of a load of words and say, cup of tea, than, would you like a cup of tea, my good man? It's quicker, isn't it? Actually, most people will just go, tea, or efficiency is everything with communication. You've been taught your whole life that we say all the words in a sentence, we say all the syllables in a word. No, we don't. Not always. There's no real pattern to this, but the usual thing is if there's a schwa in there at some point, potentially 2 schwas, one of them will probably disappear. Evening, evening, evening. Modus operandi, but I don't know why we'd need that. I've never used that in my life. Really. Yeah, it's not a common thing that we say. We usually say MO, if anything. What's his MO? But it's more American than British. Memory. 3 syllables. Which do you prefer? Let me know. Memory with 3 or memory with 2. Memory, memory. My computer is out of memory, memory. Latin, Anna. That's what Josie's asking for. Latin. 2, memory. It's easier, isn't it? Again, here's some more. You could say general, general, or just say general. 2 syllables. General, 3. Can I say probably again? I could say probably, or I can say probably. Probably. Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right. The best way to deal with this is actually to listen to native speakers. What do smart people say? Well, smart people tend to be the most efficient, I would argue. If you're talking smart in the terms of the way that some people would refer to as posh, and we're talking a classist word with smart there, then potentially they would pronounce all the syllables a little bit more, but that's a formal way of speaking potentially. If you're talking about intelligence, well, isn't intelligence related to efficiency? Again, you could say general or general, the general population. Choose either way. It's your choice. That's up to you. Just remember when you write, it looks like a puzzle. Battery, 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 battery. You could say battery or battery. The next two are slightly difficult to sort of say because there are definitely two ways of pronouncing those two places. So, first of all, we have the Scottish capital. Now, somebody in Scotland may say it differently to me because they have the trilled R, so they may go Edinburgh, Edinburgh, Edinburgh. They might trill their R a little bit, and the vowels might sound differently. They might sound a bit different. Different, not different. Different. But personally, you've got two pronunciations. You've got three syllables or four. You could say Edinburgh, borough, borough, with two schwas, borough. Or some people just reduce borough down to borough. Edinburgh, Edinburgh, Edinburgh. It is not Edinburgh. It is not a type of fast food, as I have had some students say, I'm going to Edinburgh. No, you're not. You're going to either Edinburgh or Edinburgh. And likewise, Loughborough or Loughborough. Loughborough, Loughborough. Your choice. Loughborough, Loughborough. And then we have literally. You could say literally, literally. Yeah, Edinburgh. It's more of a sound at the end, not a. You're welcome. So you could say literally, especially if I want to exaggerate it, that is literally the worst thing I've ever listened to. Literally. Or you could say three syllables, literally. Depends on male or female voice. I'd have to think about that one. I really would have to think about that one these days. Depends as well on your taste of music. Taste in music. I would go for someone like it's tricky actually. Taste in music is tricky as well because well, we'll talk about this in a moment. Interesting. Literally, Anna. Literally. Just get rid of one of those syllables. It's easier. And the same with different rather than different. 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 Now, I said about music a moment ago. You've got that top word there. If you listen to the Beatles, they say strawberry fields forever. My son is really into the Beatles at the moment. I love it. But they say strawberry fields forever. They've got that eh sound in the second syllable. Native speakers never say that in natural speech. We don't say strawberry, strawberry, strawberry. Ironically enough, the French have got a reason that the spelling is like this, but it's all the languages that are coming to English. There's a lot of stories. I've done a whole video on why the spelling is so insane. So you could say, naturally, we pronounce berry as berry, berry, strawberry, strawberry, strawberry. So instead of strawberry, so the Beatles, when they're singing, and this is what I mean, if you sing along with the Beatles, you'll be like, strawberry fields forever, because singers need to put beats in and things like this. I'm not a singer. But a lot of people say strawberry, strawberry. But I say, and a lot of other people say, strawberry, two syllables, strawberry, 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 strawberry. Your choice. Your choice. You could say average, three syllables, but a lot of people say two, average, average. You could say boundary, three syllables, but a lot of people say, sorry, boundary, boundary. So you got strawberry, boundary, average. History, three syllables, fine. favorite subject at school, but for me and for many other thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of British people, it becomes two syllables: history. History. Which word, Lucia? Which word? Strawberry. Depends if you want to say it with three syllables or two. That's now what's interesting. Well, we'll talk about this in a moment. And then we've got secretary with four syllables, but a lot of people reduce it to three. Secretary. Secretary. And you could say nursery or just nursery. Nursery. Okay. Right. So, Lucilla, this is the thing. Chocolate is fixed. It is two syllables. Stress on the first. Chocolate. Strawberry at the moment is transitioning. Now, bear in mind, most of the dictionaries, like the Cambridge and the Oxford, they haven't been really updated too much in years, certainly in terms of pronunciation. So, strawberry, three syllables, most people saying two. So, we're in a kind of transition period of pronunciation. 10, 20, 30 years' time, the standard pronunciation may just be two syllables. Strawberry. Strawberry. At the moment, I can't tell you if it's three or two. It's kind of your choice. But most native speakers say two. Strawberry. But some people will say strawberry. So that's the point. Your language is constantly evolving. Pronunciation is evolving. You've got to look at a word like tour. Tour, to go on tour. Tour. Well, 50 years ago, it was tour. 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 Completely different. Tour. So this is the thing. You know, you are transitioning language. Chocolate. Deterioration. That implies that efficiency is not necessarily a good thing. I don't see this as efficient, as deterioration. No, not at all. You've also got to, there's so much to talk about that I could talk about that single question for hours upon hours upon hours. No, language evolves, language changes. Modern RP is now the child of traditional RP. I don't speak like the king, but nobody does. Not well, obviously the king speaks like the king, but he in turn doesn't speak like his mother spoke at the start of her reign. Prince William, Prince Harry speak closer to me. They speak like me. Language evolves. Pronunciations change. What becomes standard changes. And then with English, you've got to think it's not my language per se. It's the world language. It's your language as well. So people will come and use the language and it will change. It will alter. Naturally, slang will enter and leave. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's a strong point. I think it's absolutely a beautiful thing that the language is evolving the way it is. And I think we're stronger for all these wonderful people. Yeah, okay, let me give you a very quick word. In English, in standard British English, we have postpone. Postpone, which means to delay. I'm going to postpone the meeting till later. We don't have the opposite in British English. We don't have. Well, again, what's natural communication? That's the thing, isn't it? You know, with these words, they are on a knife edge of changing. So if you're talking about speech, well, why would you slow yourself down with three syllables when it's natural to say, yeah, it's probably right, to be honest. I was making a point and I've completely forgotten what I was saying. So I will, oh yes, postpone. So we have postpone in British English to make something later, to delay it, to put it off. But we don't have the opposite. But in Indian English, Indian speakers have a word that's the opposite of postpone, which is prepone, which means to bring forward. That is completely logical sense. It makes perfect sense to me. Postpone, prepone. Postpone the meeting, prepone the meeting. Doesn't happen in British English, not yet. But if enough people start using it and thinking, well, what a good idea, let's bring it in, it will appear and become part of the British language, or it could become part of American language. In fact, there's examples of words that still have four syllables in American English and three in British. Three in American and two in British, and vice versa. Languages change. It's a beautiful thing. It's a fantastic thing. Anyway, so that talks very much about the words that are changing. And the best way to do this is to listen to native speakers actually say these words in interviews, TV, speaking to native speakers like me, and so much more. That's the best way to think about that. So let's now talk about connected speech because we've got two more points to go, and time is ticking. So did you? You'll commonly hear that as did you? Did you? Did you? And that's because the d and the y from you, they assimilate in connected speech and it becomes a j sound. So it's di, j. The most common pronunciation of you is a schwa in the weak form or you. Uh, both pronunciations really. So did you becomes did you quite commonly. I don't know. You hear a lot of people just say, don't know, don't know. And this isn't necessarily connected speech here. This is kind of the whole process. And want to becomes wanna. They're not real words. I want to go. I want to go. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But that's actually really interestingly connected speech. Don't know. Because you've got don't know. But quite commonly we drop the T when it comes between two consonant sounds. So it becomes don't know. Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And over time it sounds like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's not really a dunno unless you're a Cockney. It's more of a dunno. Dunno. Fascinating. We often contract. Instead of she has gone, God, students sometimes say the whole words. They go, she has gone home. And I go, she's gone home. 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 We have weak forms. We have strong forms. We have words that are not as important as others. It becomes more like shiz. She's gone home. She's gone. She's gone. She's gone home. She's gone home. And bring with you this type of pronunciation, the correct one, of course, the best way to suit your personality. Absolutely. In a lot of ways, you've got to establish that there is a difference between accent and pronunciation. And there's tips and tricks. Fundamentally, you can't mix up can't with a terrible word, and you can't certain words, you can't misstress them and things like this. They are brilliant, aren't they? There are rules, and a lot of people mistake accent for pronunciation. Do has got strong form, do, but quite commonly we have a weak form, duh, and do, duh, do. And then when you put it into, oh, don't know where that came from, but anyway. So here we have, what did you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? So I glottalize that T. I don't make it a true T. I don't, what did you say? Because it's before a consonant. So it becomes, what, what'd you say? What'd you say? Did you becomes j, remember? What'd you say? Sorry, what'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? The word you need to listen for is say, but the biggest mistake that you'll make is trying to establish every single word. What'd you say? What is wodja? What is wodja? No, you listen for say. What'd you say? What'd you say? A lot of these auxiliary words, they are throwaway. Not important. I'm sorry to tell you that if you spent a lot of time learning this. Do you often becomes j in front of consonant sounds and ju in front of vowel sounds. J, ju, j, ju. Depends on the pronunciation of the second word. Do you? J. Do you like it? Do you want to go? 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 Go is the most important word you need there. And of course, ju in front of a vowel sound. So instead of do you agree, it becomes do you agree? Do you agree? We had a little intrusive sound in between the do and agree. Do you agree? Do you agree? It makes it smoother. It comes like one word. Do you agree? Do you agree? So we need to be very aware of intrusive sounds, of connected speech, of things moving over, and so on, so on. Would you like tea? Would you like tea? Would you like tea? Becomes would ya like tea? Tea, like, very important. Would ya is the way we say would you. So there we have, would you like a biscuit? Becomes, well, would you like a biscuit? Connected speech. The first two words becomes would ya. Like, the k moves over to the schwa. Like a, like a. Would ya like a biscuit? Would you like a biscuit? Hello. Would you like a biscuit? What's your favorite biscuit? So we need to be very aware of all these. I'm going to skip on to this one. Can I have a piece of toast, please? Do you think which one is should say speaking correctly? Which one do you mean? Sorry. I did it, and indeed, I'm not sure what you mean there. But after all the connected speech with the consonant sounds moving over and actually saying did ya and would ya, and you know, I hear teachers all the time saying you must pronounce this clearly in the exam. No, no, because that's not how we speak. It isn't fluency to say, would you like to go to the party? It is not natural. Would you like to go to the party? There needs the flow of British English. There needs, well, or American English if you choose that pronunciation as well. Would you, if you say, would you like to go, your band in IELTS is not going to be as high in terms of speaking as if you say, would you like to go? If you can mimic the stress patterns, the weak forms, the connected speech, your band will be better. And then finally, we have, in terms of conversation, British slang. I'm going to give you a few right now because I see we're running out of time. Who can tell me what a chinwag is? Who can tell me what a chinwag is? What is a chinwag? Come on, it's time for you to tell me. Yes. So wait a minute. Must have, should have, should have. You could say should have, but a lot of people just say should have. I should have spoke to him earlier. I should have spoke to him earlier. I should have spoke to him earlier. Oh my god, I must have forgotten to plan. Oh no, I must have forgotten to. A chat. A chat. Yes, it is a conversation, usually over a coffee or a glass of wine, depending on how fancy you are. Or if you're like me and my wife has put me on a diet, a coffee. So if somebody asks for a chinwag, they're effectively asking for a conversation. Gossip. Could be a longer chat. Bit of gossip. Oh, would you fancy a chinwag? What is a tune? And notice that pronunciation at the start. It's not tune, as it would have been 50 years ago. You'll be outdated if you sound like that. Tune. What is a tune? This is very Gen Z, but we use it as well as older people from the Victorian age, like me. I'm only 21, I'm joking. It could be. But in slang, it actually means an amazing song. That is a tune. That is a tune. What a tune. The younger people, the children, they'll say a banger. That's an absolute banger. Oh, that new God, Louis Capaldi song is a banger. Yep, absolutely. Hang on. So a tune is an amazing song. Mate, that is an amazing tune. That is a tune. That is a tune. That is an amazing. That is a banger for the kids. The children. I sound so old when I say the children. Good banter. Banter is a timeless slang word. Um, Banter is like a funny exchange between two people, teasing like, "Oh, all right, you silly sausage. All right, oh mate, you're such a wally. Oh mate, well done. Yeah." It's like a kind of back and forth of teasing and jokes and things like this. And if the banter is good, then it's basically like everybody's enjoying the situation and the conversation, the funny comedy. We sometimes say bants, shorten it down, bants. The bants was awesome. And if you're really good at it, some people make a joke and call you things like the Archbishop of Banterbury or the Bantosaurus Rex. I'm going to teach you one day how to be the Bantosaurus Rex. Fit. Fit. Yeah, it can mean he goes to the gym and he's fit. But usually fit means attractive, sexually attractive. I wouldn't say it's silly, Sukram. It's got a purpose. It's like a collective, uh, a connective thing. Yeah, just the banter was awful, or the banter was awful. Bad banter. Yeah, fit bird. Although we don't use the word bird that much, I'll be honest, it's not necessarily as common as it once was. Some of the younger children will say fire, and this is the important thing to remember about slang. Slang changes. What becomes acceptable for a 20, 21-year-old man to say may not be as acceptable for a 50-year-old or a 40-year-old. Language changes. I would sound as a father in my late 30s. I would sound a bit weird to say, yeah, weird flex, but okay. Sounds a bit weird. You got to know your slang. You got to know what's appropriate. Beef is a drama, an argument. Oh, he's got some real beef with John. And notice as well, all the time I hear like John and I. If you're in an exam, you should absolutely say John and I. Marie Christine and I, absolutely. It's formal. Better in an exam. Most British people just say me and Marie Christine. Me and Marie Christine do not have beef. Okay? In an exam, Marie Christine and I. In normal speech, though, British people just say, "Oh, me and John." How do I ban you? Joking. Maybe. Um, so beef is like an argument, drama. Oh god, he had some real beef with his boss. Scrap. Once you've got the beef, once you've got beef, it might lead to a scrap. Scrap is a British way of saying fight. It's particularly for kids. You know, they had a scrap at school, but adults can have a scrap as well. Come on, let's have a scrap. Fight. Skive off. Skive off means avoid work or school because you don't want to go. You pretend to be ill. Oh no, mate, I'm too ill to come to work. Are you skiving? No, no, no. Avoiding work when you could do it. Because do you know what? This is a really intriguing point. I actually have taught it. I'm currently editing it, Luciana. I think some people do say well that we commonly say well, but most people just say good. Some people say yeah. There's a lot of varieties, but I don't often hear well as a standalone word as much anymore. Son, you look like an unpeeled potato. I've not heard that. No. Skip work would be better. Why do you now say it? Because we do. Language evolves, language changes. Some people say it's an American influence. I just think it's part and parcel. Leo, you were right. I saw, haven't had a chance to recover. So, yeah, people say good. Like, how are you? Well, I don't often hear people say well as a, yeah, it can happen. Not as common as it was, though. Certainly not, I'm well. How are you? I'm well. It's not as common. I'm good is much more common these days. And if enough native speakers say it, you can't really say it's wrong. It's just there are some words that native speakers don't use correctly. Disinterested is one of them that's become uninterested. Yeah. Uh, what's another one? Bemused is one that British people and Americans use wrongly. Inflammable, another one. Can't say it's wrong because they're using it so regularly that eventually the dictionary will catch up if it doesn't die out. Um, no, I'm well is more British technically, and good is American technically. But to be honest, it's overlapped. The only time I hear well is when somebody asks, "How are you?" is when they use a word like really or very. How are you? I'm really well. But most people say good. Why? Language evolves, Lucilla. That's the thing. That's the best thing I can tell you. And it changes for better or worse, richer or poorer. Sound like I'm having marriage vows. Language changes. Bear. This is a word I never use personally, but it's out there. Bear is more London. It's a London slang, and it means a lot of. Never, ever do I say that unless I'm really not happy. How are you? Fine. Such a loaded word. Such a loaded word. Not bad is good, basically. Yep, they use mental, means crazy. Oh, it's absolutely mental today. Mental at work, very busy. Bare means a lot of. Oh, there were bare people. Got bare work to do. I would never use this in my life. I would sound like I'm trying to be from London or I'm trying to be young. Younger. But it's out there, so you should know what it means. Dodgy can mean a bit off, a bit strange, can't be trusted. What a dodgy man. Don't trust him, he's a bit dodgy. Americans, well, no, actually, Americans can say can't be bothered. British people often say can't be asked. Can't be asked. Asked is a slightly rude word. Please forgive me. Can't be asked means don't really want to do it. Oh, why aren't you doing your work? I just can't be asked, mate. I just can't be asked tonight. I've got no um don't add super in British. Yeah, super's a bit more American. You do hear it a bit. Um my yeah, I've heard some people use it. I think it's more of a kind of second language speakers using it that they've learnt it. That's super interesting. It's just a bit American. Nothing wrong with it though. But it's just not what British people say. Few more. Chuffed means happy. Gutted means devastated. I was gutted when my football team lost the match. Cuppa, most important thing you could ever ask for is a cup of tea. Cup of tea. Cup of tea. Doesn't refer to coffee. A lot of students go, hang on a minute, what if it means coffee? It doesn't mean coffee, it means cup of tea. Cuppa means cup of tea. Only tea. Fancy a cuppa? Some people up north will say brew. Brew. Brekkie. Can anybody tell me what brekkie is before we wrap this up today? Do you want a cuppa? Do you want a cuppa? Do you fancy a cuppa? Brekkie? No. Brekkie? Anybody knows? No, it's not a break. Oh, this is a good one. I didn't realize this. Brekkie means breakfast. Breakfast. What do you want for brekkie? My son says this. Yeah. It's breakfast. It's breakfast. It's definitely breakfast. Dad, can you make me brekkie? Every day. Every day of my life, he wakes me up. Mum's not making me brekkie. Can you make me brekkie? It's like an unwritten rule in the house. Dad has to make brekkie for John. Dad has to make breakfast for John, and then Mum, well, my wife makes breakfast for us. I don't know why. He loves it that way. Apparently, I make better brekkie for him. Sani means sandwich. For the record, there are some phrases like this that actually can be pretty loaded as well. I haven't got to this tonight, you know. Things like fair enough could mean okay, whatever. Could mean all right, okay, fair enough. I understand completely your point. But it could also be quite dismissive. You know, like oh, whatever, fair enough. Depends on the tone of voice. And that is another thing as well. All about tone. I taught a lesson on insults the other day. And by the way, I want to say this very clearly. I know exactly how tricky all of this can be. And that's why I've created something very, very special. It's called the British Pronunciation and Slang Bundle. Now, it's designed to solve these exact problems, helping you sound natural, confident, and truly at home in British English. But I'm afraid it's not available today. Here's the good news, though. This September, we're offering a massive discount. A massive discount on it in September. If you've always wanted to unlock that authentic British sound, then this is your chance. Now, I'm sending a link up here now. This September, as I say, we're offering a massive discount on it. Oh, it's gone through. If you've always wanted to unlock that authentic British sound, then this is your chance. Now, to access this discount, all you need to do is join our VIP WhatsApp group. Now, you can find it in the description of this lesson. You can find it in the comment going up right now. Join that VIP WhatsApp group. Tap the link, as I say, in the description to register. Join the VIP WhatsApp group, and we will send you a very special offer link on the 9th of September. It's coming on the 9th of September. That's why I say it's not for today. But if it's time for you to take your English to the next level, to understand the slang, the idioms, the pronunciation, then the slang, the pronunciation, the British pronunciation and slang bundle may be for you. To get that special offer, if now is the time, now it's going back to school. That's true, Shem. And I tell you what, one thing I love is that my students on the courses are here with me tonight. A lot of people here are students already. They're with me. Every week on the pronunciation guide, we have a weekly catch-up. Hey, Sylvie. Every week we have a feedback session. We also have a conversation club class. And in fact, tomorrow, there is another one. Don't forget that, guys. If you're on the pronunciation guide, hey, there's another student. If you're on the pronunciation guide, don't forget tomorrow, 6 p.m., we have a Zoom session, guys. And if you are intrigued about things like that, so there's live and there's a lot of lessons. I'm actually currently making an IELTS speaking module. It's started. It's begun. I'm editing it as we speak. Immediately as I finish this lesson, that's being edited. So to access this exclusive discount, all you need to do is join that VIP WhatsApp group. Tap the link in the description of the video. Tap the link that's going up the screen now to register. Gratula Porter is in the club. You've been in the club for a while, I think. Elizabeth's in the club, and we'll send you the special offer link on the 9th of September. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure you're in the group. But what I will say is thank you very much to everyone who has spent this evening with me. Thank you very much. I hope I've cleared up some things. We've talked about slang. We've talked about, yay, me too. That's what I say as well. Often you get taught that you should say, so do I, and so am I. Now we just say me too all the time. Massive thanks. You're very welcome. Sarah's on the course. You're very welcome, Anna. Anna's in the, Anna. Students as well. And we always make sure. And that's why I want people to know that we keep in touch. This is real. So thank you very much for joining me. We've talked about slang, real English. You're very welcome, Isabel. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. We've talked about real English. We've talked about pronunciation. And of course, we've talked about the sounds. Don't say chocolate, say chocolate. You can let me know in the comments your favorite chocolate. But from me today, I just want to say thank you for joining me this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure.